All right, Sanbonani, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Mbongeni Mbingo. I come from the Eswatini Observer. So we've decided that we have to have a conversation, a nice coffee with my good friend Wandile Mtshali, who is going to tell us more about his life as an MTN chief executive. Puti, thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving us time to talk to you.
Thank you, Mbongeni, and it's my pleasure to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
I think don't look forward too much because we're going to talk very serious things, eh? Yeah. So, following your announcement of leaving the very hot position of being chief executive of MTN, there's been a lot of interest in your life as a chief executive and then also why you're leaving. So, we thought let's talk, and I know that some of us have had some say about why you're leaving and why you're not extending. So it's a very good opportunity for us to get to know the man behind the position and to clear some misconceptions. So, Puti, because I call him Puti, I just want to know from you, how do you feel?
I'm very good. Good spirit.
Good spirit. After 2 weeks, what's it been like since you announced that you are leaving the very beautiful position of running our mobile telecommunications giant in Eswatini?
It's been a good 2 weeks. I think had a lot of positive messages coming through from a number of family members, relatives, friends, business associates and partners who have really sent me messages to say well done and all the best in your future endeavors. So I think it's really been a time to reflect and to connect with a number of people. So it's been good. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 months for me to wind down the business and start something that perhaps we're going to talk about later on. Yeah.
So would it be fair to say it came out of the blue, or as I read somewhere, and I've got a newspaper here that I will read from later, this has been something in the pipeline for you?
No, certainly it can't be out of the blue. You can't wake up the following day and leave unless there is a reason for doing that. I think for me, reflecting on where I am personally and looking at what I want to do into the future. I think early in the year, I was just reflecting on perhaps I need to look at what are new things that I can do in my life. I still want to be a business person and run a successful business. So I had an opportunity to speak to some of my mentors, some of my very close friends, and to say, I've got this thought. Is it something that perhaps I must explore? Because really running the business itself is very important, and I'm managing a business that has very, very critical stakeholders and shareholders. So I need to make sure that when you come to that decision, it has to be thought through and make sure that you've really closed all the various areas that you must consult before you come to that stage. So it has really been the journey. So it didn't wake up one day and do it. I've been going through that process. But of course, at some point, you then have to have the conversation with your principals, etc., etc. But in my mind, for some time, I saw it coming, and I thought maybe let me explore that.
So when you worked out, at some point you want to leave, it must have crossed your mind also that it's obviously going to be the biggest news of the year that you are leaving. So what is the one main thing, and I know we'll get to it later, but what is the one main thing that you would say as chief executive of MTN when you were working out how to handle it? What is the one main thing you would have figured must be right when you announce?
No, for sure. The most important was really making sure that the stakeholders of the business or the shareholders of the business are aware of my move. The board is aligned to my move. And most importantly, the people that we work with at MTN, the MTNers back, I needed to make sure that they are aware of this decision. And so at least, they, understand where I am and where it's going to go. So I'm still going to have an opportunity to sit with them. I think certainly you've overtook them because I'm sitting with you now. But I'm still going to have a moment with the staff to say really my appreciation for the great work that we've done over the past 5 years and so many months. It for me really it has been, the principals are the most important people that I must obviously make sure that they're on board with the decision that
abakhalanga, and they didn't try to stop you. I mean, some of us, yes, it's not sicabanga kuyekela ukuthi hayi asohlala hlale kancane, maybe not now, maybe later.
Not necessarily, because obviously you must have a valid reason why.
Okay.
You know, maybe I didn't tell you. I've just passed 57. I'm going to 58. So it's, you know, the retirement age was getting closer.
You make it sound like you're 60. You're not yet
It's getting
there.
closer and
Okay.
closer, but I think, yeah, certainly, if you explain it and you give it some thought, and it's never not a problem.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So the announcement came like a shock. I mean, a lot of us were shocked. We were not expecting this. What was it like for your sitawubuya kuma-MTNers ngoba thina ma-MTNers solo sizama ku-adjusta from it, but from your internal, in terms of staff, in terms of the people you work with the closest, what was it like when you broke the news?
I don't think they were prepared. I don't think they were ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable so, because it's not something that you discuss with everyone on a day-to-day basis. You know, once you've confided to the one or two people that you know will help you in the thought process, then you have to then engage with your board, etc. So I think to a lot of our colleagues and some of the executives, it came as a shock to say, "Oh, njani manje, what has happened?"
We thought you were staying more longer.
Yeah. But it is important for us, because also in the roles that we have, you know, there has to be a proper transition period, you know, and that is what we've allowed for that process to take place. So that at the time when, you know, a new person comes in, etc., they will have had some time, you know, to look at, to go through that.
So,
Yes.
since we have been given the exclusive to speak to the CE, and as a newspaper, we're proud of this moment. You know, the Minister for Commerce wrote a very nice piece for us, and I think this is what brings me to this position right now. And he calls you a great leader and a good man.
Yeah.
And I agree with him there. And a level 5 CE. So I want to ask you, and there's very nice things that he has mentioned here of you and of your position as a leader of a very big organization. You've impacted a lot of people while you are chief executive, and half the time, people that confront you or deal with you or play golf with you, which I'm not, you haven't invited me. They see you as a very humble, good guy. So, how can you take us back to who Wandile is, number one, and what your leadership style is like for the people that don't get to, you know, connect with you all the time?
Course, maybe first of all, you know, just to also pass my appreciation to the Honourable Minister for the kind of words that he wrote in the article. I think I saw it, I read it as well. I did send him a message as well to say, thank you, Honourable Minister, for the kind words.
It's not normal that a minister writes, but
it's not.
So it's a big thing.
It is, definitely, Even though, it is a big. That's why I had to personally reach out to him and to express my appreciation for him. And I think certainly, like I said earlier on, it's not only him. I think I've had a lot of other business leaders that I've met with since the announcement, and they've shared with me their thoughts around, you know, where MTN is today and where MTN has been over the period that we've been here. And we can talk about a lot of things that we as MTN have gone through over the period that I've been at MTN. You know, we started, you know, at the time when, you know, I think 2 months after I started.
A very difficult time, I was going to ask
to shut down the entire
you
country.
came at that period of COVID, and a lot of was happening.
Exactly,
And
but
it was a very difficult time.
We had to think with our feet, and you know, at that time, you know, schools were closed and then people were working from home, etc. We needed to provide service because we were providing a very essential service for Eswatini and businesses to connect, international businesses to still connect and still be able to live, you know, our students be able to learn even from home. So a lot of things had to change within such a very short period of time. And that's what we did. And we had to make sure that all of us collectively at MTN, we put together a concrete plan that would enable Eswatini to use, you know, our products and services and connect from home and be able to make sure that the economy does not crumble, but it still continues. I remember when the late PM calls us for a meeting to say, by the way, the elderly grants must still go on. COVID or no COVID, it has to go on.
Yeah.
And we were then called into a meeting, not only MTN, of course, other service providers for the service. And I can tell you, within a month, we were able to then disperse, social grants to elderly people. I think by June, we had already started to disperse, in 2020. And up to today, it's still a service that is done purely by MTN to make sure that, the elderly grants and social grants and et cetera are done through our platform. So it really shows how much we had to make sure that we provide a service that is obviously reliable, but also accessible for every Leswati as well.
Mm-hmm. You got criticized for shutting down the network during that time.
Oh, God. 2021.
yes.
Yeah,
how did you take it? How did you feel at the time?
That was probably, if you had to ask me what was my most difficult time as CEO in MTN, I think 2021 was probably
the hardest.
Most difficult time.
Harder than it is to leave?
No, that was something else. I think really it from also personal security became a challenge. That time it was unfortunate, but it became a challenge, my personally and the family, etc. So that also then put a lot of pressure. But that was by far the most, even worse than COVID. I think that was probably the time, because when something then threatens your life and the life of the people close to you, then you can certainly say it's an issue.
What surprised you the most during that time about the criticism? What was it? And I know it was a difficult time for all of us. It was easy then to issue threats.
Sure.
But when you look back, what had you not anticipated might be the reaction and how it came out during that period?
No, it certainly maybe certain things I can't say, but it was really difficult for both, the government of the day, with those decisions, and also, working for a international organization like us, there would always have pressure from all directions. So you as then the CEO and the driving, you need to then make some decisions to make sure that certain things are done. So it was not an easy journey, but we thank God that it's behind us. I think all of us want to shut down 2021 and make sure that it doesn't happen again in our kingdom.
One of the things, obviously, that brings us to the mountain view to enjoy this beautiful weather, it's very nice and warm here, is the reaction or response to your leaving. And some of us who have communicated or made our opinions known would say, you can't be leaving at this time, or you can't be leaving at the back of this one or two things. So I want to know how you reflect now on your decision to leave and how it's been handled at group level now, and obviously moving on to your anticipation going forward.
So what we went through was really to plan for the communication, to say when the time comes, let's have a proper communication structure to say this is what is going to happen, when, etc. So myself, the board, our PR office had a session to discuss this, and also involving obviously our group office. However, I think, understanding that we spill somehow information then tends to come out, but then it does not come out the right way in most cases. So then we then had to then try to react, which was unfortunate. In my view, it was really unfortunate. I think we should have continued with the trajectory that we had, with the plan
that we had taken.
This is the communication that we must do, and just do that.
Okay. So you're still in the position for the next 2 months, and having to deal with your customers, your MTNers. And how do you handle that? Coming across your customers who, on the one hand, they know you're leaving, and you are still the face of the organization.
I think for me, I have a lot of respect and value for our customers. I think MTN is where we are today because of our customers. They've continued to support and use MTN products and services every day. If I tell you, today MTN, I think since 2019, 2020, we've maintained a customer base of just over 1 million customers that use our products and services on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. And also, we own 2 brands. There's an MTN brand, there's Momo brand. Again, on a daily basis, Eswatini use our products on Momo on a daily basis, and again runs into about 600,000 in Eswatini. So really our customers have been behind the force of where MTN is. And what we've made as a strategy, I think over the years, is that we need to put the customer first and make sure that we address concerns of the customer. It has not been easy, I must say, because number one, we came from a position where we're obviously the only operator in the kingdom until 2017, and to continuously review your offering and the prices, etc. It has to be a journey, and I think if you recall, because we've had you come through to MTN several times with other editors, we've been in the journey to continuously reduce your prices. We're doing that just to listen to our customers and say we want to offer the right products to our customers, but also giving to them at an affordable price. So I think that's really where we've been driving. Customers have continuously given us feedback on what are the challenges that MTN should address. And prices always has been the top of their agenda, and secondly, obviously, issues around how much value to provide to the customers. For example, when a customer purchases a data bundle, they expect to get more value out of that, and so those are some of the areas that we've dealt with. We've had issues where customers complain, my data depletes very fast and so on. And again, you would recall that we had a series of activities that we tried to address all of that. But overall, our customers have really been behind us being successful over these years. And I strongly believe that into the future again, we'll still see MTN thrive, you'll still see MTN grow. I know the population of Eswatini will never grow, so we might not be able to say it's not 2 million customer or something, maybe not. But at least let's maintain the base and make sure that we service it accurately so that mass customer to MTN. And that is what we've always maintained. So for me, that was really number one. Number two, it's around our people, and what you're asking here. The people that work with the MTN are just amazing, and I think they've continuously been able to motivate, innovate, and create offerings for our customers. In as much as you're under pressure with competition, etc., but you've been able to be at the top of that. And I want you to, maybe when you have time, look at some of the surveys that are out there around customer satisfaction. Look at some of the surveys around our brand affinity. It's very important for you to understand where we are as MTN, so that it doesn't come from me, but at least you have had some feedback from it. You also, I think, SECOM had a very good report that they produced last year as part of their annual report, and it also explains to you where MTN is vis-a-vis where competition is, and whatever MTN has been able to produce over the past few years. So again, I would say maybe go into those documents and read through about what we've been able to achieve.
So in short, and let's go back a bit to when you start at MTN, and I know this was Wandile Mtshali 2.0, you'd been there as a technical guy.
Sure.
And now you had the position to lead the organization. So you leave it from when you came in as Chief Executive Officer to now, you leave it in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And looking back, is that what you would have wanted to achieve out of this position?
Very much so. And like you say, I started MTN in 2000, very early days of MTN as an engineer. We took over from South African colleagues that obviously took over, and so over the years we got to a stage where I got an opportunity to work outside the country for MTN as well, and experience different cultures in West Africa and also in East Africa before coming back home. I had a 3-year period where I disappeared from MTN, but I know you won't get there. But
we will not get there.
I then came back as CEO, and when we got there, we set ourselves, these are really our targets that we want to achieve over the time that we are there. And I must say that we definitely did that, and we are glad to at least exit at a point where we know that we've been able to meet all of those objectives. Obviously, over the years, when competition becomes more aggressive, the returns might not be as much. However, you must still be able to make sure that you provide the right value for your shareholders, but also make sure that business is healthy as we're going to leave it healthy today.
Okay. So I just want to go back to your experience as a technician, a technical guy. now that you've had the best of both worlds, in your short role as the leader of the organization, what is the one thing you would have wanted to do as an engineer? And have you been able to do that?
As an engineer, I would have rolled out 5G across the country. Definitely, I would have made sure that there's 5G and running at 1 gigabits per second for every resort and so on. That's engineer in me, and make sure that we have actually, the best out of that. However, as the CEO, you probably then have to start saying, is there a business case for you to do that? And can the owners of the business give you that kind of capital to go and invest and
to go and invest?
I see. So that's where then, things change. However, because we're now, converging, I think we are on the right track to make sure that the investment that we put on the ground returns value to the owners of business, but also helps the customer to grow, and look at what are the newer technologies that we must roll out in our market. And I'm certainly sure that we are on the right track.
Okay. Yeah. Your CV was read very nicely in that statement of your achievements. And of course it presents a scenario of, okay, if he's performing this well, why is he leaving? But what are the highlights for you as a chief executive in your short 5 years you've been?
No, I think I've already spoken about what we've achieved from a customer perspective. I think maintaining a very healthy base of our customers and still making sure that our customers still use and enjoy our products and services, both on the GSM side and the fintech side. We've made a vision for ourselves to say we want to connect Eswatini to a digital future, and that is exactly what we've been doing over the years. So for me, that is really something that we say when we go through the position, we're going to achieve and able to achieve, and exceed that. Again, issues around making sure that we deal with issues around customer experience and make sure that customers are heard and we address their pain points. Perhaps we still leave still a gap, because you cannot then say all my customers are happy today. But at least we've attempted to make sure that we deal with issues around value, issues around pricing, issues around data, etc. So but there's still going to be some bit of work that we must do as MTN to a point where we believe that Maswati are now saying we're happy with the service. So again, that is something that we've continuously worked on. I was talking about Momo. I think certainly something that we are really proud of, that we've achieved over the period, and will always be something that Maswati will remember about, how mobile money has transformed the lives of Maswati, particularly around, payments, etc. Very, very important. As for any elderly person, Ekaya, jealous, I know we had some challenges. I think in 2024, 2023 around Fakata, but I think we've really tried to deal with it. You guys were asking us very difficult questions around what are we doing about it. But we're now at a much better position. I think our cooperation between us and the security forces, especially the police, has helped us to make sure that we deal with those issues. And again, what we've been doing to make sure that we capacitate our people, our staff, very, very important. I think for them to be able to provide the level of execution of our strategy, execution of our business, you need to make sure that you continuously engage them, make sure that they are also given the necessary skills for them to execute on their roles, and exactly what we've done, and also making sure that they still feel MTN is, the right, place to work, and they still regarded as, the employer of choice in the kingdom. And I must say, it has always been.
It's still, it's still the employer of choice
to working for MTN. But so it's something that I think we're proud of ourselves to say we've maintained that, and people still feel MTN is the right employer. I know we overwork our people sometimes, but I think it pays off, because at least end of the year we still make sure that they're fairly rewarded as well. So those are some of the things that we are really truly put in as a priority for us to achieve during this time. Of course, the technology advancement is very, very important, and I think we just Lucy spoke about 5G, but also other digital technologies transformation. We have a program for ourselves within the enterprise business to say, let us continue to go into businesses as well, and try and help them to transform, digitally, and make sure that what you are doing today manually, perhaps try and do it in the next 6 months and 1 year. Let us transform, because the efficiencies that come with that are just too wide. but also it allows you to connect easily with your customers, with your clientele, etc. So the digital transformation journey must still continue, and for where we are, we must still continue to drive that agenda within our business communities in Eswatini. And we always support the Minister of ICT because she speaks about these things, and part of what we've been partnering with government on is to do it within the government journeys around what Maswati use government for, and let us enhance it and then see if it can then translate to the rest of businesses as well. So I think that the journey that we've started with the Ministry of ICT is going to just keep on growing and growing. And I'm hoping that even during our international trade fair, it will be an opportunity for us to showcase newer innovations that you surprise you that, MTN is going to logo, and this is really where we want to show what's the innovation and newer digital transformative journeys are very, very important for us.
Yeah, okay. So if you're watching us, we are sitting at the Mountain View with the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Eswatini, Outgoing, we should say. 2 months to go. And we're having coffee and water, no food yet, over his decision to leave, and which to a lot of people came out of the blue. So just to recap, Puti, you say that this was your decision to leave. And the second part of it is that you had carefully thought out over a period that you would want to walk away. So the question, of course, is where are you walking away to?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Perhaps maybe might not be able to answer it now, but I'll definitely keep you updated on what are the next steps.
Okay.
It's
You're going into business.
I want to definitely do business. I think
Okay.
it's important.
Yeah, because there was also this other area of why not go into another area of MTN? I mean, MTN is so wide in Africa.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't look at those
No,
options.
No, I didn't look at the options.
Okay. You're going to cycling. You're going to be a cyclist. I'm just making guesses here because he's not telling me yet.
I've been a cyclist for a while, so maybe I need to slow down cycling. But yeah, I've been cycling for a while,
Yeah. Okay.
I just think everything that happened just became unfortunate in the way that,
Yeah, does it frustrate you though, how this came out?
It definitely did, yeah. Not only me, also my family was also really impacted by this, and it was truly, truly unfortunate. And perhaps we should have handled things differently. Even from us as leadership and the board. But we're finding ourselves where we are now, and I think we just need to try and fix whatever negative perceptions, especially for me. For you as a professional. That is where I think it didn't come out the way it should have. Because you work for an organization, you get to a point where you meet with your principals and say, okay, let's agree that perhaps let's end this, and they give you a notice period, etc. That journey was really going well, and I don't think it was at a point where someone should have translated that to
something else.
So,
okay.
But so we actually had a conversation with the board and the chairman and said, let us sit down and agree on how this can be done. When the time comes, what will then happen thereafter in the communication.
So just on the last part of you leaving, only a fewer people would have known that this is in your head and you want to take a different route. Maybe the one other question to ask is, how do you view being a leader, an executive leader? And I know that the minister has called you a level 5. I mean, it's the highest in terms of corporate governance and getting things out of understanding what your role should be like. So my question is, how do you see that? How do you rate yourself when you look at how you are a leader and assess yourself?
Sure. No, for sure. If you had to ask me to rate myself, obviously I will concur with what the Honourable Minister was saying. So, because we believe that we've done an excellent job in managing and running MTN in Eswatini to date. I'll definitely say that. But it's important that it's not my own reflection. It must be a reflection of the people that I lead. So
that you work with.
So
also.
if you have an opportunity to speak to them, I think you must obviously I'm sure when you're a journalist, you'll ask some few questions from some few of the staff members.
I want to ask two more.
Yeah, you can obviously get that sense. You can also speak maybe to some of the directors, speak to some of my own business partner. It's important to get that feedback because certainly I might sit here and really create this very nice picture, only to find that maybe perhaps there were gaps here and there that I as a person must still continuously build on that into the future. And it will help me because I think I still want to see a leader that is 100% there. But I think it's a learning process. You must continuously learn as a leader. But there are certain things that are critical for leaders. I think first of all, you must love people. I think leadership is about people. If you don't love people and you're
in the wrong place.
Yeah, then you cannot be a leader because you will then bring in, you lower the energies of people. You speak, ill of certain things. So the first thing is really to love the people. But secondly, it is also, around what are the principles of a leader. When you talk about, the governance process that you're talking about, it has to be there so that people don't find something that you have done which is wrong, in your leadership. Because once that happens, it tarnishes everything around you. You cannot be found as a leader in Bongani to say, we are doing now. It cannot be that. You need to make sure that your integrity is still intact. You still make sure that when it comes to governance and compliance, etc., you are at the forefront of that. And perhaps you might also have time to speak to our regulators as ESCOM to see how our interaction has been and how we have been able to make sure that wherever there is need for us to engage, we engage constructively with respect and ensuring that at least we maintain and keep this industry running as it is today. So it has been a number of people and entities that you can consult to say, really, has this person really done what he says he's done? And I don't have any doubt that that will come out.
Okay.
I
was going to say, the minister says that you live on a very clean slate, that as a leader in the past 5 years at MTN, I'm sure also when we read the headlines, kude kokuthi mhlambe CEO waka MTN so to conflictile somewhere, which is good, and I think that's what makes what the minister is saying more important. At that level, you are one of the fewer people to actually even determine your way out. Kangwane wezivamisa ukucela bese kufushafusha ukuthi hey i-contract seyiphelile wekunene saluhamba uhamba uyolobhisha all the time. So you are defined or described by many who know you as a nice guy. Do you think that's a good trait? I'm just asking.
I think I'm
a
humble guy. Don't ask some of my staff members, but I think most of them they'll say I'm a nice guy, and I'm humble. I'm quiet. But I think there's instances. You're a leader, There are instances where the voice tends to
be firm.
Generally, I think, and also even when that happens, because you now as leaders you've got maturity and emotional intelligence. Even when you're in those situations where you feel like your temper is just almost out of the door, you find way in which you must still build a relationship with your people, because if you lose that, they'll lose trust in you. Then they'll I can't talk to Mbongeni because he uses this word when we're talking to him. That cannot happen as leaders. We need to make sure that whilst we hold our people firm and accountable, you still must have a discussion with them and make sure that the engagement is still healthy. So that when they meet you,
they are open to come to you.
Exactly, because once you shut down, then what are you doing then? Because as a leader, you can't lead the systems. In a way, working in technology, I can't say I'm leader because I'm leading a billing system or something. I lead the people, then the people manage those platforms. So if the relationship within your people is broken, you must know that it becomes difficult to do anything in that environment. So that's certainly, as leaders, we need to make sure that you build that capacity. For you have emotional intelligence, build your own capacity to lead people and love people, and the rest, I think, will fall through as a lead.
Okay, so one, what are you leaving behind? What will you miss at MTN?
Oh yeah, a lot. Wow, there is a lot I'm going to miss at MTN. Being at MTN from early days, I feel like it's been part of me. For a very, very long time. And I think, I look at everything that we've done I was like, when I got to MTN, I think we had about 10 base stations. We're just starting, I think,
Yeah.
and then we just built this massive network to where we are today. I was the first one to put up an SMS platform, and then I put a voicemail platform. I put when I got there, they moved from postpaid to a prepaid. So I
prepaid,
put in prepaid. So it feels like it has been part of, for part of me for a very long time. And now when I got here, we now start to look at, newer technologies. So it feels a bit sad to a moment to say, but yeah, I think we'll see.
Yeah, do you still wake up and say, maybe I have over...
The 31st October probably be the most difficult day, and I don't know what's going to happen. I was telling my wife that I don't want people to plan for that day because I don't know how it will feel, because this is a brand that I've loved so much for many years. I've been attached to this brand for many years, even though I had a bit of a break, but it's a brand that I've maintained.
That like the back of your hand.
Maintained exceptionally good relationships with not only the team in Eswatini, I've maintained with the team back in the group company and other operations across MTN, where we still continue to work together for some time. It will be, I'll really miss that those moments. Definitely, I can tell you.
So I can hear from that I can ask this question. Yeah. So you will be lost to MTN where you're going.
It's a strong one, but yeah, I don't know.
So you will not be in the telecommunications sector.
I'm in between, but I'll let you know very soon. Yeah,
I want to be the first one to know. It's going to be a fun page story. And as well, in the 5 years you've been at MTN, I'm sure obviously you've made friendships. You've connected with a lot of people, people that are obviously happy to refer to you as Umpati.
Yes.
So what will you take from that experience? I'm sure some of them are also thinking, yo, lagaya kona ngihamba naye,
saying, I'm giving you my CV, but yeah. No, but it's really been very good people that I've worked with at MTN, and I'm surely going to miss all of them. We've had great moments with all of them. So it's something that I'm taking with the love of the people at MTN as not only the people, because remember MTN is broad. There are people that are working in the office, perhaps about maybe 400 or so people that work in the office. But again, if you look at the broader MTN, in Eswatini, we have made very good progress. I think today we have in excess of about 12,000 people that are selling MTN products every day. I make it a point to go out there on a quarterly basis, and I go to I'm at Pixpeak, and I go to Nhlangana, I go to Stegen, and meet the people that sell our products and services on the streets, and ask them how they're doing, what can we do to improve their life, because give a sell my products. So I've also built that relationship with them. So wherever I go, they can recognize me even before, because they know it's here that it's our time to tell him what are some of our pain points, what are things that we believe we need to improve on, and that's what we must do. So again, with that network that I'll be living, it's something that I'm proud to say I've been part of over the years.
Okay, I've got 3 more questions left. So the first one obviously is I hear you saying you plan to be in office until the 31st.
Yes.
You are not going to take a day off, a week off,
I'll
leading to...
I'll probably maybe a week or so. I think I need it now after, a bit of a rough time. I think I need a bit of week. So I'll probably take a bit of week and we'll come back. But at M10, it's now also an important time where we put together some of our plans for the following year. So I'll be part of that to make sure that the transition is done appropriately.
Okay. And then also on that... last few days of you in the office. Obviously, I know that the past 2 weeks have been difficult for you. How difficult? Take us through, because Wandile is a very composed person. So when we say difficult, maybe we don't understand how difficult it was.
It has been very difficult. It has called for me to, get closer to my family and try and explain to them what has happened, unplanned. speak to my spiritual father and say, this is what I'm going through this time. And so the health has sort of like taken a bit of a toll because of the stresses and all the things that I've gone through over the time. But I must say that I'm in good spirit. I think we've come out of that.
You've regained your energy.
Of course, yeah. And I think maybe it's I don't know if it's the right thing to say or not. You need to then keep away from reading those negative things, because it affects you. And not affects you, it affects your family. And when those people are affected, it's really not a good sight when I see them, really saying how. But
what is this?
Why are they saying these things about you, etc., etc.? So it has been that difficult time, but I thank God that my life is still intact, my family's life is still intact, God is still in control, and I'm able to still wake up and smile and look forward to the next day, and that is really what keeps the spirit going.
Yeah, and obviously the first week of this breaking, the, shall we say, tension in the office, the uncertainty. How have you handled that with your staff?
That is an ongoing process. I think we can't say it's done. We've had engagements. We'll continue to engage, and we've encouraged that as in the smaller units, let us continue to have an open conversation. What do you believe? Perhaps we didn't do right from a communication perspective, but what are your concerns from a position of where you are? And so we have to do that. And I think over the next few weeks or so, that is something that we have set ourselves. Let us address it. And Tando has put together a complete plan on how staff engagements must happen, over the next few weeks. And not only the office, we may need to go and meet everyone within the 10 families, so that people don't ask themselves a question, as big, would say how. So we need to make that. So we put together a process to do that, and also to then obviously allay any fees around people's job security, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I must mention, as you're mentioning Tando, I would say she's been very helpful for us to get this opportunity to sit with you, because obviously there's a lot of stories that come with the CEO is leaving. And siyabonga Nkosi, sibonga nje nalokuthi usifake la etintweni letinhle. So
and this is not your last podcast.
This is probably the first, and
this is a permanent thing. No, I'll tell you, this is a permanent thing.
Oh, thank you. So senivile ke ukuthi siyaphi na baba Mtshali. He's going to be running a company lengidabo hlala kiyo mina ngendema podcast. All right. So my last takeaway, Puti, from this conversation with you, as a CEO of a huge organization with a lot of people, such a decision impacts on a lot of people also. You've probably reflected on that, and what is your view? Would you have changed, in the way that it came out, in the way that you took the decision? Do you look back and say, I'm satisfied with how I've handled myself, or you look at it and say, I probably should have considered A and B of the organization as well?
Yeah, perhaps the way that it came out, we could have done better. I still think, but we've engaged this. We've spoken about this from leadership
internally
to say perhaps we would have done better. And so I think that's the only area that I think we should have improved on. But making sure that there's a plan on the transition, I think it's a solid, definitely it's a solid plan. It's just that, in any environment, things tend to obviously creep out. And but so I'm really happy that at least we're now out of this.
Okay. So you can confirm for us that MTN is in good hands, it's performing, it's competitive.
No, MTN is
MTN is happy with you.
You can see that, and that's why I was saying to you, perhaps part of your journalism is to engage, from
others,
time to time and say, is what Wandile is saying, is it true? But I believe that we're living MTN very healthy, and we made sure that our shareholders still receive value, and we make sure that our customers are still serviced appropriately every day.
Yeah. I like this reference to your spiritual father and you retreating to finding that moment. So how important is that, and how important has it been in your journey as a leader?
No, it's been extremely important. But I think I've made sure that I involve my spiritual father even from the time when I made an application to MTN for the position. I was taken into the position. It was really important for me, and as someone that is a Christian and born again, it was important for me to make sure that I always have that strong relationship with my spiritual father, but also make sure that on a day-to-day basis I pray for myself, pray my family, but also pray for the organization, pray for everyone. At MTN we. Yeah, like you believe it or not, we have weekly prayers within the staff, and it's been running for some years. And also once a year when we close the year, we have time when we actually have a service and a prayer for the organization. So the prayer has really been part of what we've been through over the time, and it has made us to be strong and to stand firm as leaders of the business.
Okay, all right. If you were watching us, we're having a very nice coffee and conversation and tea and biscuits with the outgoing CEO of MTN Eswatini, who has been breaking it down for us in terms of his decision to leave MTN. So we can confirm that he is leaving. We can confirm it is in his own way and his terms. Now, my last few as we wind down. So, Mr. Mtshali, you can now tell your MTNers that these are good times at MTN, but more importantly, going forward, how long do we give it before we know where you will be? So shall we give it a year, so sign a contract, let's say?
You'll know it probably in November. So
in November. Oh, okay. I'm anxious.
Yeah, but I think going back to my comments again, the MTN family has really been good to me, and I've gave it all my best to make sure that I'm also good to the family and MTN. Our staff members have really been exceptional. The board, the executive team that I've worked with exceptionally well, and so I can only say thank you to all of them for the opportunity for me to serve at MTN over the years. It has really been great. Challenges definitely always be there, and I think even the new person that will come through, we will go through challenges, but we always sail through because we have that end vision and goal to say that is where we want to take Eswatini and to create a digital future for Eswatini. Ultimately, that's what will drive us, and the ambition for us to wake up every day and make sure that we go and do our business in the office. So thanks to all the MTNers. I think really my heart pours out, and I think I'll also certainly find time to go through all of them in the next 2 months and create that a platform where we can now express to one another. MTN, we have also a union which have really been supportive of this. A lot of you might not know because they've never been in the forefront. Again, I'm really appreciating the leadership of the union at MTN. We've had these very cordial engagements with them each year when we have to engage on certain areas where even sometimes not easy, but at least we've always made sure that our staff are taken care of on a year-on-year basis, and also the executive team really been very great over the time. So I can only say thanks to all of the MTNers for being part of my life, and for me being part of them and serving with them as well.
Okay, shoda nje munye umvula ukufuna ngathi you might take another 2 minutes to appreciate, which is your partner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who stood by you. She'll kill you.
No, Dr. Kuku has really been part of me, and thanks to her, and she's really been again the field driving me every day, and even this past 2 weeks or so, she's been the prayer warrior than me.
Yes,
sometimes
I know.
Pray, but I feel like the tears are starting to
and it's important at this time when you're going through something that you have that kind of support.
She's really been exceptional. I think I really give her all the honor for where I have been, and also the journey since 2020 when I started at MTN, the support that we've had over the time.
Yes, thanks for reminding me. So now that we're about to wrap up, but I'm just reminded that there's a story we didn't touch on.
Yes.
During this period, there was a time when you had to drive to Joburg all the time.
Sure. And so that was the birth of the twins.
Yes, the birth of the twins.
So we knew it was coming, but I
Yeah.
think we're still maybe counting another 3 weeks or so. And so she went for a normal checkup with the doctor in
Yeah.
one hospital in Sandton. So during the checkup, on the pregnancy, the doctor said, "No, I'm putting you in labor now. I'm putting the labor just this evening." And she said, "No, but my husband is in Eswatini." Okay, call him. I'm putting you there.
Yeah.
It was 3 p.m. I'm in the office. I'm in a meeting,
Yeah.
and I don't, we have this tendency of opening messages when you're meeting, which is
When
wrong,
you're in a
but
meeting,
anyway,
yeah.
I forgive myself for doing that. And so the message was like, I met the doctor because I knew she was there. She says, "I'm putting in theater now. Something is not right." Oh, okay. I didn't say anything. I just got into the car and
Left.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, those two beautiful people, you've met them when they're
Yeah.
3 years
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
in September.
Now I'm wondering if they are not behind the reason for you to leave.
They're
Okay.
3 years in September.
So,
yeah.
Congratulations
Thanks.
and well done on those beautiful twins. So, the outgoing
Yeah.
CEO of MTN, you can now take the moment to tell the MTNers about your decision
Yeah.
and assure them that
I will do
you
that.
are
I'll definitely do
still
that.
with them.
I'll definitely do that. But I
Yeah.
still have time to make sure that I meet all of them and tell them about the decision. Yes.
Okay. As from us, we at the Eswatini Observer are very privileged to have had this moment to sit and have this conversation with you. And we are very happy for you going forward. I think that you've explained to us this is you going out to play golf more with ministers
Yeah.
and tell them more of your plans and not tell me. And also we can now wish all our readers and the MTNers the best, and I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. As Wandile Mtshali has hinted, this might be a good thing,
Yeah.
We are on to something here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Thank
sure.
you, Puti. Thank you
so
for
much,
talking
Puti.
to
Thanks
us.
for your
And
time.
good luck to the future.
Appreciate it so much. Yeah,
All
thanks.
right.